This message is mostly for the Occupy Wall Street U.S. Day of Rage participants. Of course, it's a given that you will remain peaceful. There's already been some agent provocateurs. Actually, that's a fancy word for saying smartasses on the web and trolls who've demanded violence out of this group that is forming in New York as we speak. Don't let them bait you. Just because some idiot can turn on a PC does not mean that they have the wisdom of the ages. I know I should talk, right? But you have to remember, I've got the right to talk. I was there when this began.
I apologize if I seem to be rambling a little bit. It's been years since I've done any real public speaking. I am basically a geek. Okay? I'm the guy you lock in the server room to make sure everything works. At least I used to be. My job, they ship to India. Yeah, mine too. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. That's another issue.
Ship the executives to India.
That's right. Now at last, I'll give you a little bit of background. I have a few minutes, I think. From the blowout of the technical industry in 2001 until 2009, instead of being in my field, I got to work as a security officer for $8.50 an hour. I know exactly what's going on out there. Nothing wrong with being a security officer. That's how I got myself through school in the first place. However, it doesn't pay. We need to fight this one inane idea. And that idea is that we are owned by the corporations. Right. No, we are not. Yeah!
Globalization has given rise to global revolution.
We'll get it out there.
If you run, the police are here to protect. If they look grumpy, it's because, who likes their jobs? Don't take it personally. And if they do say something, still don't take it personally. Most of the police here have been very kind and very respectful. And, if you run into someone who isn't, you have to respect them. The same thing, kindness and peace are our biggest, so basically this protest should be a conversation, and just make sure that you're always being a good person. People over profits. Occupy Chicago.
I've heard people over
profits. Occupy Chicago. People over profits. Occupy Chicago.
People over profit. Occupy Chicago. People over profit. Occupy Chicago.
Exactly.
Since some of us have kind of been around for this, maybe we'll start with some updates and some information for people who haven't been able to participate as much or who are here for the first time. We started yesterday, as probably most of you know. We marched yesterday.
I was challenged today by a troll who insisted that I'm living high on the hog as a spoiled brat in protesting at Occupy Chicago. So I figured what I would do for you today, for a few seconds here, is to show you my broadcast station, if you will, from my perspective. This is it, guys. This is where I live. Yeah, it's a little messy right now, but I just got home from work. Now, as to using an iPad, really, folks, come on, take a look at this. That is my television, which also doubles as my monitor. And over here, and I don't know if you're going to get a really good view of it, is a power station that I bought in 1988, and it's still working well. Now, as to the computer itself, you should take a look at this one. Okay, are we looking? There it is. Let me move some papers. Right there. You tell me how old that thing is. I bought it refurbished from Computer Geeks for about $200 earlier this year. I think it was about March or so. And of course, now bear with me as I bore you some more. As you can see, there's the camera that I broadcast from when I usually broadcast. And that, when I do my work, is what I see. And of course, good old Twitter's up and I'm about to get on with my day. So that gives you an idea that I'm not one of the chosen few, and I'm definitely not using an iPad. Thank you much.
We'll be taking some notes for you all this evening. I know, it's sexy, I know. They're going to be up for everybody tonight after the assembly is adjourned. I'll get them up as fast as I can type so that everybody has living room.
I'm Ryan and my name's Chris. I'm the moderator tonight. Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all. How you doing tonight?
How you doing tonight?
My name's Andy.
My name's Andy.
I'm from the Labor Committee.
I'm from the Labor Committee.
I just wanted to report back to you about what we do.
I just wanted to report back to you about what we do.
We imagine ourselves as a face for Occupy Chicago.
As a face for Occupy Chicago.
In relationship to labor.
In relationship. Hello.
Hello. My name is Laura.
My name is Laura.
I am here tonight.
I am here tonight
to introduce to you an idea, an experiment, in generosity, an experiment, in relocalizing economy, and retribalizing community, through gifting. Yay!
I have a quick announcement about timekeeping. If you have 30 seconds left, I will make this sign. So
Wrap it up.
that means wrap it up. All right, next we got T from the tech team. Call him up. T. What's up, Occupy Chicago? My name is Tim. And I'm a total computer nerd. I'm saying this. We have tripled our online coverage in the last week. I recorded the first song
The first song
for Occupy Chicago. If you want to check it out, you can go on the Facebook for Occupy Chicago.
You can go on the Facebook for Occupy Chicago.
Also, if there's any artist that needs studio time, you're welcome in my home.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. So yesterday, we talked about how it's really important that we eventually find a home to actually occupy. So today, Jerry from the National Lawyers Guild will be talking to us after the meeting. Giving some advice about how we can eventually find this new location. Yeah, so that's it.
Announcement about yesterday's march.
We have a quick breaking news announcement. Hello, my volunteer army.
Did you know that you're a volunteer army? You should. Because we're being treated as a volunteer army. The manuals that the police are reading document how to treat us as if we are engaging in low-level warfare. And this is not a legal battle. This is a political battle. And I have just received word that something we did last night, which was totally legal, and because I love y'all, and know enough of y'all, to expect that you wouldn't have done what was said, we need to be aware we may have had a political loss. When we were getting ready for the General Assembly, about 40 to 50 of us, significant number of people who had never been to a General Assembly, broke off on an unplanned march, and an unplanned demonstration, without a police liaison, without press liaison, without security, and without a press team, and without it having been approved by the General Assembly. I can understand why they wanted to do it. But because we didn't have our infrastructure in place, we didn't make a press release. And none of our press allies made an announcement. So the number one article on the internet right now about last night is that we were throwing water bottles and blocking people in suits and blocking them from getting into cabs, blocking the cabs from leaving, banging on cabs, reaching into cabs, grabbing suits and ties. Please, before you encourage other people, or allow yourself to be encouraged, make sure we have infrastructure in place. We are fighting a political war. And whether or not we're doing something legal doesn't change whether the CPD will crack your head. Or whether an unfriendly source will encourage readers to think they should crack our heads. We have to win this. And with self-control we can. I'm down here because I'm the 99%. Like all of you. What a lot of you don't know is I'm also down here because I owe it to you. Because it's my duty to you. And to avoid being misquoted,
being misquoted
by Channel 2 News or Fox.
by Channel 2 News or Fox.
I won't go into the details on that, but you can talk to me later.
I won't go into details on that. Talk to you later.
Thanks, John.
Hello, my Occupy Chicago family.
Hello, my Occupy Chicago family.
I love you so much
I love you so much
that the best thing I can do
that the best thing I can do
is try to give you an idea
is try to give you an idea
of what I think we need
of what I think we
to
need
be successful.
to be successful.
I was about to walk away,
I was about to walk away,
and in all honesty, I don't know if I can regardless.
and in all honesty, I don't know if I can regardless.
But there was a letter that I put forth to some people
But there was a letter that I put forward to some people
that expressed some concerns.
that expressed some concerns.
They asked me to read it
They asked me to read it
at GA.
at GA.
I felt like it wasn't the appropriate form.
I felt like it wasn't the appropriate form.
So I put together
So I put together
some proposals
some proposals
that some people are going to help present
that some people are going to help present
that address these issues
that address these issues
that I think are about our foundation.
that I think are about our foundation.
This announcement is from National's request that Chicago reconsider its dynamic with organizations, coalitions, and associations, especially political parties, candidates, and anything else that might be partisan. All of the groups, including unions, may be well-intentioned. However, they are associated with lobbyists, politicians, and the current infrastructure that can only be bought by money. They only represent a fraction of the 99%. So if we endorse other groups, organizations, or actions, we are part of that system. We can't discourage people like Ron Paul, Ben Bernanke, Nancy Pelosi, Obama, or anyone from coming out and supporting us or endorsing us. However, we need to make certain that we are not going to be co-opted. And to that extent, we have three things that it seems New York would like us to vote on, is my understanding.
I'm sorry for taking up your time,
Sorry for taking up your time,
but this movement
but this movement
has made a radical of me,
has made a radical of me,
and I have y'all to thank.
and I have y'all to thank.
I have dedicated my time tirelessly,
I have dedicated my time tirelessly,
like many of you here.
like many of you here.
My job recently
My job recently
has been to advocate
has been to advocate
for our brothers and sisters' support
for our brothers and sisters' support
in the unions.
in the unions.
Why I think this is important.
Why I think this is important.
If we model ourselves,
If we model ourselves
not only on Occupy Wall Street
not only on Occupy Wall Street
and all the other Occupies in the world,
and all the other Occupies in the world,
but also on Tahrir Square
also in Tahrir Square
in Egypt,
in Egypt,
like Cornel West said,
like Cornel West said,
let us not be afraid
let us not be afraid
to call this a revolution.
to call this a revolution.
We can't do that
We can't do that
like Egypt couldn't do that
like Egypt couldn't do that
without our brothers and sisters
without our brothers and sisters
in labor.
in labor.
And I don't know about you.
I worked with the Stagehands Union
I worked in
for 7 years.
for 7 years.
I worked in the AFL-CIO
I worked in the AFL-CIO
for another 2.
for another 2.
I would not be insulted.
I would not be insulted.
In fact, I would be emboldened
In fact, I would be emboldened
if the Occupy movement,
if the Occupy movement,
if all of us
if all of us
refrain from giving support
refrain from giving support
other than our own personal choice to support
other than our own personal choice to support
and stand in solidarity
and stand in solidarity
with any union
with any union
or person in the government.
I spent the last week on the South Side
I spent the last week on the South Side
talking to a number of local organizations
talking to a number of local organizations
who are busily coming up with ways to support our movement in sharing what we're doing here. I think the language of the proposed amendment makes it unclear on what our position regarding these sorts of organizations would be. There's a difference between endorsing their agenda and endorsing their right to participate with us.
Essentially lives in Springfield. He is basically a politician. Like the previous speaker, I would be not offended, but emboldened and proud to be a part of this movement. While this organization officially renounces endorsement of unions and organizations. There are not one, not two, but 5 vacant homes sitting empty. Refuse to make the loan. Refuse to put money into them.
In 2009, my parents' home was foreclosed, stripped from us. Not because we were stupid, not because we decided to sign a lease that we knew we couldn't afford, because we had no other option, and because what they did with our money was illegal. Managers that sit in Wall Street take the money from people, increasing interest rates to pay for their mistakes and to pay for their speculation. It's gambling. This is an organic movement, one that accepts no money, but that gives, one that will continue every day, one that embraces all colors, ages, shapes, and forms of people. One that will mark the end of people like you and me that suffer.
Got bailed out!
What happens next? Are our direct actions, debates, and everything else. The occupation is not leaving. The occupation is not.
Quick announcement. We've just been informed that the police have 7 CTA buses and dogs. This is going to happen, okay? This is going to happen. We have 15 minutes. We need to be done by 10:15, okay? We have
There should be no vote without the people out there. You know what he said earlier.
Hey, calm down. We're stacking now. We're not voting on anything. We're still stacking, okay? Okay. We're talking about this conversation, okay. We are the people. We are united. The occupation is not leaving.
All right, everybody. We just had a meeting with the Direct Action Committee and legal team, and basically what we decided to do was come and discuss what we were discussing with everyone, because this is something that we all need to come to a decision about.
But there's an option to not be arrested.
Okay, basically, the Direct Action Committee and the GA in the past few days came to a vote and a decision on our plans for tonight and also other potential contingency plans in case our original plan didn't work out. All of those contingency plans were approved. The first plan was that we take the horse, which we did. Hey, we're here. Cool. Now, there was an issue because we initially thought that a lot more people were going to be here based upon some suggestions and things that were said by people, and it didn't work out, so hey, whatever. But this is still really cool. So what we were going to do was, potentially face arrest here, right? That was going to happen because we want to occupy this space. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
However, we need to think strategically about these things as well. Arrests are an escalation tactic. Last week we faced 175 arrests. This week we need to face more than that for it to escalate and for it to be effective, tactically and strategically, in order to forward our movement and occupy this.
Fuck the police!
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Basically, what we need to decide to do is, are we going to stay here and face arrest, or are we going to follow through with our already voted on and approved by GA contingency plan to move to the Thompson Center? Now, if we don't face arrest tonight, guess what? We can face it next week as well. Or the week after. Or the week thereafter. But the point is, we need to think strategically about this, and we need to decide right now what we're going to do before any of this actually happens. So, okay, what are we going to do strategically? Are we going to stay here at the horse? Or are we going to follow our, mic check! Or are we going to follow our first contingency plan and move to the Thompson Center? That is the decision we have to make very quickly right now.
Do you realize that will be costing the people?
And if you decide to follow through, if we decide to follow through with the first plan, and we are going to follow
CTA buses, they have dogs, they have
we can occupy the Thompson Center without arrest, and this is Occupy Chicago, so any space that we can claim, if our resources are limited, our time is short, it's still public property in Chicago, that's the Thompson Center. That's what.
While we're talking about things to keep in mind while you're making this very important decision, it was mentioned that everyone should consider, if they've been arrested before, how that would affect their decision tonight. One thing that's been discussed is you should also consider being arrested tonight and how that will affect your decisions in the future. How that will affect your decisions whenever we do have the numbers here, whenever we do have mass amounts of people to really do this like it was supposed to be done tonight, will you be able to contribute to this?
It was me. We cannot change our mind last minute. I was here last Saturday.
that tent for 24 hours. If you all stay, we stay. We are not leaving the Wall Street occupied. We are going down with Wall Street occupied. The nurses will be here. Are you all going to be here with us?
Was only to be triggered if we were denied this force, this plaza, which is our plaza on public property, if we were denied it by human beings blocking us or wooden structures blocking us. I don't believe that happened as I look out into this crowd and I see all of my brothers and sisters smiling faces right now. Thank you.
I think whatever we vote on, there's going to be people who don't want to get arrested. I propose that for those who don't want to get arrested, let's wander around the city and have the cops follow us and create a huge headache for them. And whatever happens at the end of this night, let's all come back next Friday when there are 400 bikers for critical mass and they won't know what to do with us again. So whatever we do, let's keep this alive.
I was here last week. I was arrested on Saturday. I didn't come here to get arrested again, although I support those who are determined to do so. I came here to occupy. I came here to hold a square. If it's this square or if it's the Thompson Center, I came here to hold a square. I think we need to go to the Thompson Center. I think we can hold that square. I don't think we can hold here.
Into leaving. If it turns out that the Thompson Center is a place for permanent occupation, we can start that permanent occupation a different day. But today, we are here and we cannot leave.
Sisters and brothers, it's clear from listening to the other speakers that there are people here that are ready to camp and get arrested. The worst thing we could do is divide and leave those who want to get arrested here to get arrested by themselves. Those courageous people who want to get arrested, sisters and brothers, are us. We must support them. If we go to Thompson Center, some people will not go, and those who want to get arrested, who want to be the vanguard of this movement, right, will feel like that possibly we're not with them. But sisters and brothers, if this movement is going to go forward, we need to be all together through a diversity of tactics. Those who want to get arrested in camp should be allowed to get arrested in camp, and those who don't want to should be on the sidewalk in support of them, chanting them along, and militantly supporting them. Mike check.
Roosevelt University public way.
Mike check.
Mike's up there.
All right, I've done my mic check. This is Chicago Police Department talking. Please be advised that the park closes at 11 p.m. Please ensure that you leave the park no later than 11. If you do not leave the park by 11 p.m., you'll be subject to arrest. Thank you for your cooperation.
Maybe, but you better decide right now. And red is for no, do not want arrest, which means you got to move over to the other side of the street by Roosevelt University. That's public way, and
people will not be arrested unless the police come up to you and say you will be arrested. They give you 3 warnings before.
The horse, it was voted on, I was there. We need to sit down and do our thing.
Occupy Chicago!
The 99% are
I think there's a large opportunity for people not necessarily involved in our movement to sour this action in our name.
Say that I totally support this idea. I'm all down for it, except I have a couple of problems with this idea. If you look at the past actions we planned, for example, the one on the Thompson Center, the police were alerted earlier.
I just wanted to address a couple of the concerns that have been brought up. I think we should amend this proposal so that people can go at any time over the next 3 days in very small groups such that there won't be any sort of threat to the police. And as far as I know, trick-or-treating is legal.
I just want to point out that Rahm Emanuel will probably be trick-or-treating with his kids.
We should check into it. I think it's a great opportunity for us to keep from becoming stagnant. People are tired of hearing about us trying to occupy. When we're doing creative and fun things, it helps show that we're not boring. Not that getting arrested is boring, unless you're sitting in a stall by yourself. I'm getting off topic.
My name is Sarah Whitford. I work 45 hours a week plus overtime as a legal assistant. I've been occupying Chicago since the first day. It's like my second job. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted. But the reason why I'm out here is to fight for economic and social justice. I think that the occupation, which has been going on for about a month and a half ago, is bringing up very interesting dialogue about income inequality and equality in this country, and I know it's going to keep going. I consider this movement a progressive movement. It's very important that all Americans get their voice heard. I believe in free speech. Even if I don't agree with what you're saying, I believe you have the right to say it. And I'll disagree with you, but you have the right to say it. So anybody who's watching this, if you have an Occupy event in your local area or city, you need to go and talk about your grievances with the government, or else you'll never get heard. And you will be sick and depressed and you'll be If you have an Occupy event in your area or that you can go to, please go to it and talk about your grievances. If you're watching this video, you obviously feel strongly about something, whether you agree or disagree. So you should go and make sure your voice gets heard. Because as Americans, people have fought and died for the right for free speech and civil liberties. So exercise the rights that people have died for as Americans. I think it's very important that we don't allow corporate lobbyists to dictate the conversation in this country. It's very important to engage and empower each other to make change.
Okay, now I got a question for you. When I first met you on the second day, you had done a little off-the-cuff speech about social mobility. Do you remember parts of that?
Oh, yeah. fight for more, they don't realize that the game is rigged against them. The game is rigged against you. You don't have a chance. The only way that you can make it into the upper class is if you get lucky enough and you're smart enough, but mainly lucky. Because I know a lot of smart people that didn't get lucky enough and they're sacrificing everything. They're sacrificing themselves on the belief of this American dream that completely doesn't exist anymore. And I think the greatest thing that the 1% has gotten the 99% to do is to fight against their own self-interest. It's absurd. Like, I don't understand, like, why are you fighting for people who basically are going to treat you like this is why this movement is so important. Because if we don't fight back now, we will all be peasants, and it will be like the Dark Ages, and we'll all be tilling fields, like a theoretical field, which will really be like a cubicle, and you'll be wasting away your life, and it'll be miserable. So it's time to fight back, and, you know, make everybody's life livable. I mean, if you like, I like to work hard. I work very, very hard. This week I worked, what, 48 hours? Today at about 2-3 hours of overtime. And then I come out to Occupy Chicago. I came out 3 evenings this week because, no, 2 evenings this week. The other 2 evenings I was tired because I was in jail. And then the other evening I worked from home setting up websites. So I'm pretty much like living and breathing this thing, but I think it's important. You know, it is really important to get economic and social justice back. And for everybody to stand up and address your grievances, very important. No one is going to know if you don't stand up and talk. No one is going to speak for you. No one knows what you're thinking. If I could read minds, I wouldn't be a legal secretary. I would be an attorney making millions of dollars a year being a 1%er. But I can't read minds, or else I'd either be an attorney or a politician and, you know, getting everything I wanted done. So if you have a grievance, come out and address it. Even if people disagree with you, it's your First Amendment right of free speech. It's very, very important. If you do not use the rights that have been given to us, people have died for, that is part of the American dream, then it's just, it's patriotic. I think, and I could be wrong on this quote, but Thomas Jefferson said the most patriotic, to be patriotic is to dissent, patriotic is to... I'm very tired.
Okay, let me back up here. Were you one of the ones that was arrested? I'm one of the...
Oh.
You said you were in jail. Did I hear that right?
I spent 20 hours in jail at 18th and State. It was uncomfortable, but that's what jail is supposed to be, uncomfortable, right? Like, it's supposed to be uncomfortable so you don't want to go back, you know? That's the point of jail. I mean, yeah, it sucks that I didn't get a phone call for 20 hours, and it sucks that I was really cold and the jail cell was cold, but is it brutality? No, I didn't get beat, I didn't get raped, you know what I mean? Like, they pretty much left me alone, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I had to imagine, it wasn't that bad. People have to remember, the jail at 18th and State, I consider that the nice jail, because I've heard stories and read books about that is not a good place. You do not want to go to 26th and Cal.
Just for the record, which one of the protests were you arrested in?
The second one.
The 22nd?
The 22nd, the 23rd. And the conditions were uncomfortable, but they're not brutal. I'm expecting it to get worse if we keep doing this, if I get arrested again. But I think that it's really important that we talk about what's going on in our criminal justice system. I mean, there have been people on a hunger strike at Pelican Bay for weeks. No one's paying attention to them. There's horrific police brutality going on in our own city at 26th and Cal, even on the streets. I mean, what a couple kids went through was not bad. No one got beat, okay? I mean, my brother has been to 26th and Cal. Police brutality, no one got beat, okay? That's what I'm saying. No one got beat. We need to talk about this because, I mean, are going to a prison industrial complex We're spending $36,000 a year on inmates, but not $6,000 a year on a student. There's something wrong with the system. Like, you cannot spend 4 times the amount to imprison someone than to give a child an education. You cannot have a corporation lobbying Congress and the Senate for stricter sentencing. Like, to make money. This is our money. This is not imaginary money. This is our money going to fund a system that lobbyists are pushing for harsher penalties so they can make more money. What is wrong with the system? Why do we think we need to put so many people in jail? Yes, some people do need to go to jail. Rapists need to go to jail. Violent criminals need to go to jail. But people on drug offenses do not need to go to jail. People who, ordinance violations for being in a park after to go to jail, okay? We need to create a more equitable system of punishment in this country. And I do believe that punishment in this country is also very dependent on class and what color you are. You know, I am from Calumet City, which is on the south side. I will drive around Calumet City and Lansing, and I'll say, hey man, I look white, I'm safe. And then when I see the council over, it's always a minority. Okay, my brother looks Puerto Rican because I'm half Korean. Brother looks Puerto Rican because he looks more Korean. He will get messed with more because he looks Puerto Rican and he has tattoos on his neck because he's been locked up. We need to start realizing that this is going on in our society. Okay, we need to talk about this prison industrial complex, this school to prison pipeline, the correction system of America that is using our tax dollars, lobbying Congress for harsher penalties to keep people in jail, to keep locking people up. It's absurd. Why is it?
It's April 30th, 2011. This is Cliff Potts. Welcome. I want to be clear on this. We are not fighting a fight against flesh and blood. We are fighting an idea.
We need to fight this one inane idea. And that idea is that we are owned by the corporations. Right. No, we are not. Yeah! Now, we are in this for the long haul. Some of us for life. We played by their rules. And they're the ones that broke the rules. Now, we play it our way. Some say this is not a democracy. To that opinion, I say so be it. Some others say that only the rich should have the voice. To that opinion, I say so be it. I say we change those rules, if they're rules at all. I say we start anew. I say we march forward as we have today. We march forward to a new future, whatever that future may be. I say we rewrite those rules to serve all of us. Let us write the new rules based on what we know about human beings and what their needs are. Let us write the new rules based on solid science. Let us write the rules that uphold life, dignity, and promote what is good for all the people in the United States. Thank you. I now turn it back over.